today what I want to talk about is friendships. And I know this sounds silly. It's like we're supposed to be talking about business, right? All right, you guys, so let's talk about friendships today. I was reminded of something really interesting just this weekend. We had a really busy weekend. My son had a soccer tournament. My daughter had a dance competition. So my husband and I did that thing we do where we are ships passing in the night, right? And I was like, hi, I'm your wife. He's like, hello. Right, we're running around all over the place. Anyway, we were talking about how few friends we see anymore. Now, a lot of that has to do with the pandemic. There's no question about that, right? Like all the dinners we used to go to, all the times we just have people over for dinner parties, all the times that we would have people around us, and the energy that that gives us and the joy that that gives us and the release that that is for all of us, and how we haven't had that for an entire year. But it also reminded me of something that I'd forgotten about. There's a book by Shasta Nelson, Friendships Don't Just Happen, The Guide to Creating Meaningful Friendships. Yes, and then the name of her company is Friendship Circles, where she actually connects you with women all over the country if you want more friends, right? But the concept in the book that I thought was so interesting, and I thought this was really important, and I want you guys to sort of let this sink in, especially those of you who are in sprints with me, those of you who are members of mine, those of you who are one-on-one clients. Like, it's really interesting what happens when we work together, right? You guys start to create these incredible relationships and bonds. And when I was talking to my husband this weekend, what we realized is how many people we no longer talk to because the sports stopped. And I realized as I was sitting there with all the moms I usually am with, 9 to 10 months out of the year, I hadn't seen in over a year. And I was like, that's weird, because we really like each other. It's not like it's like, oh, I'll be nice because she's here. It's not like that at all. Like, we all really enjoy each other's company, but there was no reason for us to be together. There was no outside reason for us to come together. So what I wanted to help you guys do today, because it's spring, and I've been noticing or hearing a lot of, I'm completely burned out, I'm totally fried. And I think part of it is, one, we're watching everything open up, and not just because of the pandemic, but also because it's springtime, right? So you're feeling that refresh, you're feeling that like newness. We're all sort of feeling this, and it's like, God, what do we do with this? And it can have this almost like pending stress and overwhelm coming over us. And I want you to think about, just with me really quickly, my job is to be your coach, right? So my job is to help you do you so you can go do whatever you want to do this week. All right, it's not my job to tell you what to do this week in your business or exactly how to be, but sometimes these exercises can really help. And what I want you to think of right now today is, who are the people who are in a circle of friendship for you that is based on outside events, right? So for me, it's all of the soccer moms whom I love and adore, but we didn't have a cemented friendship outside of soccer before that happened. Right? So when soccer went away, it was like, oh, I don't see them anymore. Not because I don't love them. We really love each other. Every time we see each other at the grocery store, we're so excited. But there wasn't a friendship determined outside of that event. Then I want you to think about work. And I want you to think about your work friends, right? Maybe these are people you used to see at networking events all the time, and you haven't seen them in months. Well, technically a year now we're on, right? You really haven't seen them in almost a year, and you're like, are we still friends? Has that weird feeling. Then I want you to think of maybe your religious institutions, right? So if you're practicing in your religious beliefs, have you seen those people? Do you get to really contact them and connect with them and be with them? And then there's a family too, right? Now, family is a little bit of a different story because we're sort of born into them, but a lot of us, like me, we choose our own families as time goes on, right? I'm closer to some of my cousins than I am my siblings, right? I have other mom substitutes who stepped in, right? And so we have those kinds of friendships and relationships too. And then there's usually and I'm having you categorize these on purpose, you guys. I'll get back to business in a second and I'll tell you why this is important. So I want you to think now of the deep friends. So these are the friends that maybe you met in college, or some people it's high school or just after college. And these are the people that have been with you for years and years and years. You can go months without seeing each other in person, and the second you get together, it's like nothing happened. Maybe you're in text groups together, or you have phone calls here and there together, or even, Zoom chats here and there. And I want you to look at these different groups of friends, okay? And just sort of notice what's happening. Because what I love that Shasta does in the book that I think is important, and I haven't read it in years, so please forgive me if I don't have this exactly correct, but it came to me this weekend, and I was away all weekend, so I couldn't prepare like I normally do for Coffee with Coach, but I wanted to give this to you guys anyway. So in the book, she talks about how important it is to understand that some of these friendships are built on external factors, and it doesn't lessen their role in your life at all, right? But sometimes what can happen is you get nervous when they go away, or you feel like you've done something wrong, or you get concerned like, oh my gosh, didn't they really like me? Was that all just for show? Like, you can kind of have those weird conversations with yourself, and that's actually just not necessary. What you want to do is recognize the different friendships for what they are. Right? You just want to recognize, oh, this is the friendship that happens when it's Saturday morning and we're watching a soccer game. This is the friendship that happens when it's business time and we start networking. This is the friendship that happens when? All the time, right? And knowing that's probably going to be only 3, 4, if you're really lucky, 5 people in your entire life that will be in that really tight group of friends. And it's not just moms, though it does tend to be in that group. You guys might have had this at work too. Right? Like maybe before you decided to have your own business, you were in corporate, and when you left corporate, all your friends disappeared, right? There's nothing wrong with those people, and there's nothing wrong with you. It means that the actual friendship didn't exist outside of that entity, okay? And I want you to understand that that's okay. I want you to understand that there's nothing wrong. And the reason I'm bringing this up right now is because as we're starting to open up, and as you're feeling this refresh of spring, with this underpinning of burnout that so many people are feeling, I don't want you to add pressure to your already burnt out or overwhelmed feelings, okay? Because what's gonna happen to a lot of people, and the reason this came up, I'll be totally transparent with you guys, I'll tell you that reason in just a second, but I don't want you to add stress to what is natural. Right? A lot of the times we end up fighting what's just normal. This is just normal. It's normal that friendships go in cycles, except for that one tight group. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong. So when I said I wanted to give you guys permission today, it's not like you need it, but sometimes it's really helpful to hear it. Like, where the hell did everybody go? Right? And the reason this came up, which is so funny, is my husband wanted to get a food cart, like a food truck for my birthday. He's so sweet. He's like, look, it's outside. We can have amazing food. I was like, that sounds incredible. And then I said, I have this really weird fear. He goes, what? I go, no one's going to show up. He's like, what? I go, listen, it's spring break. Everybody's out doing whatever they're doing. Half the people won't be here. And I said, honestly, I've lost touch with almost everyone. Not like we'll text and we'll keep in touch, but it's just not the same because the outside circumstances changed. And he was like, oh my gosh. And then he starts and goes, wait a minute, if I did this, and he was thinking of hosting a different event. He goes, if I did that, he goes, I don't know who would come in. I go, I know. So now it's time, inside of all this, one, not to make that wrong. Like, there's nothing wrong. It's okay. And now what I want you to do as you start to plan out Q2 for yourselves in 2021, the craziest, what do I want to call it? Aftermath, right? Like, that's what this year is like, the cleanup and the aftermath, right? Like, as we start to go in this, to actually intentionally cultivate these new friendships. Like, who do you really, really want? And you guys know if you're on my list, because I've been reaching out to you guys. You know who you are. I've been reaching out more and more and more and more. You started to see it. And if you haven't heard from me yet, you probably will in the coming 2 weeks, because I've got it planned out. I literally do. I have a list of people that I am like so upset I let it go because the outside thing went away. So I'm like, okay, nothing wrong. And I want to recultivate this. I want to go out and get this, right? I want to start to create this. Now, I want to use that same energy that you're doing for the outside world for yourselves. And listen, you guys, you might be like, Sarah, I don't want to do a list. I'm just fine not seeing anybody. That's fine. Keep it that way. Again, no pressure. This isn't to pressure. This is to have you start thinking about what you want. What is the support that you want in your life? And you guys know we have a new sprint starting in Q2. So if you want support like this with other female entrepreneurs in a tight group, now's the time to DM me and get yourself in one of my sprints, because they only open once a quarter, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Start to think about this, you guys. I really want you to be intentional about who you're spending time with. And I want you to do the same thing with your business. Let's spring clean your business too. What do you not want to do anymore? What are you sick and tired of doing in your business, but you're doing because you think you're supposed to? Just like these friendships. You feel like you're supposed to keep up. You're supposed to go to remember this feeling. We don't have it right now, but it's coming back. Okay? Which is, I don't want to go to that dinner. I don't want to go to that party. Remember last week? Please no more bouncy houses ever again, right? Like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that. And I want to give you guys permission this spring as you refresh. Just like I talked to you guys, 2 weeks ago in the podcast, we talked about cleaning out your office. We talked about cleaning out your bedroom. This is the same type of clean out. And I've been kind of preparing you guys all through Q1 so that as we open up in spring, and again, I don't mean just open up because of the pandemic, like I'm super excited for my second shot and all, but it's about really focusing on what you want to let back in. And now I'm telling you guys right now, like consider this like the biggest PSA I could possibly give you. Now's the time to decide what this is going to look like. I want you to think about your family. I want you to think about your friendships. I want you to think about your business plan. I want you to think about your outside activities. I want you to be thinking about your health. And I want everything that is not supporting you out. Literally, just take it out. You guys, it's not that big of a deal. Throw it out. Get rid of it. There was an amazing woman I was watching on YouTube. Why was I watching her? I don't remember, but she's awesome. It's Minimalist Mom is her name. She's fantastic. Oh, I was cleaning out my kitchen. That's why I was watching her. And I did my thing, you guys. I GTS'd it. And I was like, what's the best way to get rid of pots and pans? Or how do we do this? I forget what the exact question was. But I found her and I love her. Right? And she was talking about how important it is to remember that every single object in a room is talking to you. It's sending you a message, which is you didn't finish this, I'm dirty, and you didn't clean me, right? Or this needs to be organized, and it's not, right? So all that kind of stuff. That's why I was like, get it out of your office. Now I'm like, get it out of your bedroom, and now I'm like, get it out of your head. All of the objects in your business or in your peripheral view, this is why I want you guys off social media as much as possible. Like, get it out. Because you can't function at your highest level if there's junk talking to you all day. And it does. You know when you walk in a room and you go, oh, I love it in here. Versus, and you guys, we've all had that feeling, right? That day you like decide to clean out your closet or you scour the kitchen or the bathroom or whatever, and you walk in and you're like, oh my God, I love it in here, right? That feeling. Versus walking in a room and going, oh my God, and walking straight back out. You know that difference? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your friends, your health, your family, your business, all of it. Okay? Really take a look. I'm going to read some comments right now. I've been struggling with the forever friends lately because they don't seem it doesn't seem like they're into the personal growth journey I'm on, and they aren't super interested or supportive of business. Let's just talk about that for a sec. That's so important. So important what you just said. You guys, how many of you, can we get likes or loves? How many of you have dealt with friends or family who are not supportive of your business, or they're not supportive of you on your personal growth path? I would love to see that, you guys, because it's really critical that we acknowledge that. Now, once again, I'm going to say something here that might feel weird. There's nothing wrong with them, and there's nothing wrong with you. There just isn't. And you have kind of a choice here. It can be a really positive choice. This doesn't have to look like a negative thing. But the choice is, do you want to continue those friendships and talk about the stuff that matters to them, which is totally fine, right? And you'll share a little bit here and there, but maybe a little bit more guarded, right? And that's cool. That's totally fine. Or do you want to kind of buffer that a little bit and let it separate a little with lots of love, no judgment, and start to cultivate friendships with other people that are into personal development and do want to support your business, right? I mean, you guys, there's a reason I created the sprints. Okay, I wasn't bored. I wasn't like, oh, I know, let me just throw this together. I was watching so many incredible women set goals and not reach them. I was watching so many people believe that if they could just take the next course, if they could just hire the next coach, if they could just read the next book, then everything would be fine. And it's like, no, you're good. Always supplement, always continue to learn. That's fine, but not because that will get you what you want. It will enhance you. What you need to do is get into action, and what you need is accountability. That's kind of my question to you. Like, do you want to create a new group like that? Obviously, I will always invite you to be sprints because I love your story, right? And I know what you're up to, and it's amazing. So do you want to be with those types of people who are like, let's go. I've got your back. Hey, you said you were going to do that. Are you okay? That kind of check-in, that kind of support. And you can have both. right? I think a lot of times, especially with forever friends, I've gone through with my beautiful friends whom I love and adore. There are times I don't share everything with them, not because I don't love them, but because they're like, oh my gosh, Sarah's doing another conference, right? Or Sarah's doing, right? And then I have my own business mentor and I have my own accountability groups that I check in with when that sort of work is needed, and to understand that both are okay. And that is really important, that we have permission to kind of embrace all, because a lot of times with friendships, especially with women, because we are so tribal, women are more tribal than men. Like, we have our people, right? And we feel like if that's not perfect, there's something wrong. And that's actually why Shasta wrote that book, was to say, you guys know it's okay. You turn to the forever friends for things like this when your parents are sick. You turn to your work friends when you're ready to launch your podcast, Angie, and quit your job and do what you want to do, right? So that's what that's for. And then over here, we have the people that we turn to when we need our butts kicked, right? When we've got to get up off the couch and we don't feel like it today. Truth be told, that was me this morning. I have a friend I polo with who may or may not be watching this video right now, and I was like, I am not motivated today. That rarely happens to me, right? But what do? You get up and you do it anyway. Why? Because I know that's what I'm here to do. Why? Because I poloed a friend who said, get up. And I said, you're right. There are different people in your lives for different things. And it's the same with your business. Different business offerings and different moments in your business provide different things to develop you wholly. That's why I'm saying you don't just need the next coach, or just need the next course, or just need the next book. It all works together. And we all need each other at different times for different things, and that's okay. It's not about using, it's not transactional. It's being respectful of what these different people are in your life for, and actually honoring that instead of dismissing it because it can't take care of every single need that we have. Of those friendships, which one would you actively go pursue right now because you just love and adore that person, or they have such a great laugh, or they have a wonderful energy, or you love the way she, I don't know, writes cards or bakes or talks about politics, like whatever it is for you that really lights you up, go find them. And that's another thing, you guys, we can't be passive and I do this too, by the way, of like, nobody called me. It's like, get up, call them. We have to do that sometimes. It's just like in business. Oh, the new customers didn't fall on my head. Oh, get up, go get them. Like, go find them. They're doing the same thing. Oh, where'd they go? I like them so much. Right? Go reach out, right? And again, even inside the business relationships, the networking relationships, the religious relationships, like all these like different pods almost that were different pockets, different tribes that we belong to, all of them contribute to us. All of them do. And we just really have to respect which ones we go to for which time. Yeah, for which need, for which moment, and that's okay. And I think somewhere, I don't know how this happened, you guys. You guys know normally I study the psychology behind this stuff. I don't know how this happened, but somewhere along the line, maybe it's movies or books or this idea that, your one group of friends will be everything. Like the sisterhood of the traveling pants, like that sort of stuff. Those are the forever friends, and they're rare. And there's usually only 1, 2, maybe 3. Like I said, if you're super lucky, 5. For most people, that's why I said you'll have maybe 1 or 2. And I put the word maybe in there, right? I mean, because that's the way it is. Some people truly grow. I think about, when you move a lot, I've been all over the world, like it's harder. Right? I know we have a couple of other people who feel like, I'm just a nomad, I just moved. Yeah, and that's going to happen. And that's where family can come in, spouses can come in, siblings can sometimes fill that role. And siblings, or in my case, cousins, can sort of have a really unique role there because they're the only people who were there from the moment you're born until the moment you pass away, right? Because, your parents are gone for the latter half of your life. Right? Your spouse comes in to the latter half of your life. Your own children come in latter, do you see what I'm saying? So there's siblings that can sometimes fill that role, and sometimes like cousins or childhood friendships, that sort of thing can kind of come in there every once in a while. But my forever friends, I found in my early 20s, oddly enough, through my ex-fiance, through my first fiance, all of my really tight friends worked with him. Is that crazy? And then when I called off the engagement, they came with me. Who knew? It's crazy how this stuff happens. What I want you to do during this springtime is really think, who do you want around you? Because you guys, it's about to happen. Can you feel it? And those of you who've been feeling burned out and overwhelmed, you know what I'm talking about. It's about to happen. The mayhem's about to hit. Right? The gaslighting is about to begin. It wasn't that bad. You didn't really see that. You weren't alone for it. It's gonna start to happen. And I really want to support you guys through this. Do not let the world start yanking your chain, because it's going to start to try to pull you in every which direction. Please create now any pivots you want in your business. Refresh your business now, and do not let anyone, unless you ask them, tell you what that's supposed to look like. Pay attention to who you hang out with, because it matters. And then I'll leave you with this. I've posted about this before. I used to do it a lot more when I could go to the gym with all of my friends, and I can't do that. It's very different now. But who you hang out with matters. You guys, if you guys weren't able to participate in the conference I did in January, there was one conversation normally in my live conference I really dive into that we weren't able to dive into because I made it so short because I didn't want you in front of your computer for too long, right? And that concept is this. And I want you to really listen to me and think about this throughout this entire week as you start to plan Q2, okay? Your life, your entire life is made up of the conversations you have. You have conversations where you are whining and complaining and you hate everybody. That's what your experience of life is going to be. You have a conversations that politics is corrupt and everybody who's a politician is an asshole and they can't possibly care. That's what you'll see. If you have the conversation, I'm always going to be unhealthy and sick, that's what you're going to have. And those of you that have moved from place to place, you know what I'm talking about, right? I was raised in a place where, you know, the conversation at age 18 is who are you getting married to and how many kids do you want? End of conversation, right? And here I'm listening to the conversations happening with my son who's 14. Everybody's, what college are you going to? How are you studying? And I'm like, whoa, these are not conversations I had. And they're making up his life just like that made up my life. Now, we always have the ability to change those conversations by changing who we're talking to. So if this is the group for you, please stay here with us. Love us up, contribute, talk. You are safe here. This is where I want you to be because we will support you. And I don't care what your business is. And that's what I love so much about what I get to do is I'm not just a coach who trains coaches, right? I'm not just a multi-level marketer who teaches multi-level marketing. I'm not just a psychologist who teaches psychology. I teach all of you how to bring the best of you to your individual businesses. And that will always be the case here in this group. You will always be able to find that support here. That is my word and my promise to you. So get in here and change the quality of the conversations you are having. Deal? All right, now if that tugged at you, like I said, we have an opening in our sprints. So get your tails over here and join a sprint if that's what you need. These are really small groups of women. You check in on Monday and Friday and say what you're up to. And it is supportive and loving, and you will create new business friendships that you probably won't find anywhere else. Have a wonderful week. Close out Q2 with power. My birthday is next Monday, and you better bet your butt I'm doing Coffee with Coach on my birthday. I can't wait. What better way to spend my birthday than with you guys? I love you to pieces. Mwah! Have a wonderful week. Bye, guys.